Now I'd like to introduce Abdul and Melissa to answer any questions you guys might have.
So the big question is, how can you help? That's what everyone says, right? So I'm going to walk you through the trip a dish detergent took last week. Yes, a bottle of dish detergent. So someone wanted to donate a dish detergent. And we had to send somebody to pick it up and take it to the Democratic Party headquarters. The Democratic Party stored it. Then someone went and picked it up and then brought it to us, my house in the garage. Then 3 ladies came over to the garage to organize it. They took it to the refugees where it was distributed by other people. This is a trip a single item will take when you do peer-to-peer. And if anyone would tell me you have no place in that process, you just don't want to do it. So the first step for us to know that you want to help, because we need your help. That's clear, right? Everyone sees that? We need your help. And you need to help because of you. Because if you don't, God will send someone else to do it, and you lose. Very simple.
Help trade.
So the first thing is the volunteer form in your paper. If you are sincere, fill it out. There are a whole lot of things you can do. You don't have to select all of them. You can select one of them. You can select 10 of them. You can select all of them, and we will call you. So be careful with what you select.
Almost the last one.
The most comprehensive thing on that list is the family pairing, or the the good neighbor team. That is the most comprehensive part. So we're going to answer questions about that in just a minute. So volunteering is number one. Second thing is we are 100% non-grant organization. So if you have money that you don't need, give it to us. I'm going to give it to Melissa to go over the list. And then we're here. Everyone that spoke today will be here to answer questions for about 20 minutes. Then we will be mingling around with some donuts and coffee and water and just good company.
All right. So I want to just kind of recap a little bit. The volunteer program that we are wanting to focus on is about building relationships. It doesn't have to be, he keeps mentioning the Good Neighbor team. That would be the most involved volunteer program that we're asking. He says pairing. Pairing is not going to be necessarily one U.S. family with a refugee family. We have 17 refugee families here. Some of them have already been paired, and some of them are going to combine into one household next week, so that number is probably more like 12 or 13. We are looking for a group of people to be paired. You can use the word sponsored, mentored, adopted. So a U.S. group to sponsor, adopt, mentor a refugee family. So if you are part of an organization, I'm going to point to this table here because I know a lot of them are Third Baptist Church. They are already having a connection with each other. They already work well together. They likely will get, if they fill out the volunteer form, they want to be part of a Good Neighbor team, then I would probably put 3 or 4 families with a refugee family. That is how the family pairing will work. But like he said, if you're only available on Wednesdays from 2 to 4, we can put you in a child care class helping watch kids while the moms are doing English classes. We can have you help pick up that delivery that needs to be brought to a family because the kids outgrew their shoes and someone has it to donate and does not have transportation. This is a way to show us how you want to serve. I'm going to try and decide not to throw too much at you at one time. I'm going to go, if you go from the volunteer page, go back to the checklist. I think it's one page the other direction forward.
The services checklist?
Yeah, it says Refugee Services Checklist. When we talk about getting involved, all of our Good Neighbor teams that choose to be involved with these families will be given this checklist, but this isn't only for them. If you want to know you're available on a Saturday and you want to spend time with these refugees, it can be as easy as taking a soccer ball and some food and visiting with them. But this list gives you an idea where to start, so you're not just sitting there and having tea with them. It can be as much as you see their house is dirty. Don't put your nose up and go, oh, their house is dirty, I didn't feel comfortable sitting there. You know what? They might have a vacuum and they don't know how to use it. They maybe have been given cleaning supplies and the mother is working 12 hours a day and she's a single mom and hasn't had time to do the dishes. We have a family that didn't know they were supposed to use dish soap. So little things like that. A lot of them, the temperature is way too hot or way too cold because they don't know how to work the thermostat. And although we've gone over that with them, it doesn't hurt to go over it again. They're turning, it's pretty outside, they turn it off, not realizing that it's going to drop in the 30s at night and they're going to need it back on again. Personal information, it's not just that they can access this information. Most of the kids, if you ask them where do they live, they don't know. They sometimes say they live in building 6, but they're really in apartment number 6. They might know that they live at Summer Lake, but they don't know anything else. We feel like most of the parents don't know how to write their names, and you'll notice most of their names are 5 different words. 5 different words to make up their name, so helping them figure out what's their first name, what's their last name, and how to write it in English so they can fill out a form. So you don't have to necessarily become an English tutor overnight, but basic things to help them: address, phone numbers, names. We mentioned school supplies. I'm sure we're going to start doing fundraisers when it comes to school years to help collecting things. But these kids are also needing, Safa can attest to this, that when they get crowns or pencils at school, they don't want to leave them on the desk because it's the only belonging that they have and they're afraid they're going to lose it. So they will hang on to them even in the cafeteria at lunchtime.
How many kids do we have all told?
We have 65 kids plus, so over 100 people within those 17 families.
That's a lot of supplies.
It is a lot of supplies, and so they are doing English classes on Monday and Wednesday, and so pens and paper are also helpful for them to have to practice at home. All of them are supposed to have insurance set up through them with World Relief. A lot of things that are supposed to happen with World Relief that you heard people talk about earlier, there is an expectation of what should happen, and there's a reality of what really does happen. We mentioned donations and furniture and moving things. I didn't realize this, kind of like, well, why didn't World Relief get them the tables and chairs? And why didn't they bring them a couch? What's going on? And Abdu shed light on the subject. Not only did it not happen, but if it did happen, those families are charged for every belonging, every item that is donated to World Relief, the family's then charged for having it delivered to them. So if a family needs a couch and we can provide it, that's more money in their accounts that they can use towards paying the rent and electricity and gas. Also, when these people do start getting on their feet, after 1 year of being here, they have to pay back their airfare. So 1 year, they're finally getting established, they think they're going to get a car and have it budgeted, and then they get that bill for $14,000 for their eight family members to fly here. They were made aware of this, they signed a form, but there's language barriers, and the reality is they just wanted to get here, and that was the way to get here, is taking on that cost. You'll notice under transportation, they do all live on the Barfield Crescent side of town in one apartment complex, which is a great location. Not the best cost-effective wise as far as them being able to afford it, but they can walk to Kroger, they can walk to the Goodwill, the Rover bus, which we have not been able to teach them how to use yet, but that's something, if you have a day just to tell someone how to use a bus and how to use the passes, that would be great to show them how to get anywhere from the health department to the library around town. A lot of them have food stamps. A lot of them are eligible for Families First and WIC. This is paperwork. They have to jump through the exact same hoops that any other citizen has to do. I thought they would kind of get fast-tracked. World Relief would go ahead and just sign them up for their identification and everything that they need, and their insurance and their benefits, and they'd be set on their way. No, they get put in a hotel, then an apartment, and once they're in an apartment, have an address, then they have to wait for a caseworker to come take them to the DMV and wait in line for 6 hours to get one ID for one person, and then you multiply that for everybody in the family. So the Families First and the WIC is a very long process as well, and additional paperwork and meetings. So that would be a great way for a volunteer to help, is get them to those appointments. Taking them shopping. So I mentioned Kroger's in walking distance. It's not walking distance for me when I'm buying 4 gallons of milk and 2 cases of water and I got a kid on a hip and a kid in a stroller and 4 behind me. So is it feasible? Yes. Is it a huge task on them? Yes. So when we can, we take them to Kroger. Also, there's a learning experience of what to buy, look for things that are on sale, buy the healthy things, buy the cheaper things, and then how to use their food stamps. Card is another thing that they're learning. We are learning with vouchers as it goes. Financial experience, orientation. We have due date calendar. Calendars seems to be a relatively new thing. They paid their gas bill last month and we're telling them they have to pay the gas bill this month and they're trying to show us a receipt. No, we did it, it's done. The idea that these bills are reoccurring and that they need to save and plan to pay for gas, electric, and rent every month is something that they have to be reminded and taught. Spiritual orientation is here. I ruffled some feathers my first week starting this because somebody wanted to reach out to one of my families as far as inviting them to church, and that wasn't accepted by everybody. We don't want to coerce anyone or encourage them one way or the other. We want to make them feel comfortable in their place of worship and help them be a place where they want to go. That is our intent. They do go to English classes. 2 hours, 2 days a week isn't a lot, and it doesn't help for the men that are at work. And so setting up English classes, hopefully on a weekend, if anyone has any connections with United Methodist Church or North Boulevard that's already doing this. Transportation is a big issue. They can't get over to those churches and they're not available when those English classes are taught. But just sitting with someone, going over objects. When they grab a water bottle, that's water. When they pick up an orange, that's an orange. Going over objects and identification is something you can easily do while you're visiting with them. Job orientation, that is a bigger hiccup because there are lots of forms and documentations and authorizations and I-94s that they have to have. But to start work involves an interview and somebody to drive them there. That would be a great resource that a volunteer could do on a short-term basis, if not part of a Good Neighbor team. You see extracurricular activities. I wanted all these kids signed up for soccer through MSC, and I had like 1 week to get it all done. And they said, well, maybe next time. My hope is if any of you guys have any soccer connections that maybe when soccer season is over, there's some coaches that have some downtime this summer that will teach these kids American soccer some rules, start organizing them, and maybe they can have their own team. If they can't be placed, ideally they'd be placed with other Americans to be playing with. But if not, have their own team and we only have to worry about busing them on game day. But that's a dream of mine. Good citizen concepts. You'll see personal hygiene. A lot of Swahilis, they brush their teeth with sticks. So you can hand them a toothbrush and toothpaste. If you don't show them how to use it, it's still in the box that you left it in earlier that week. Eating choices. I assumed some cultures love fruits and vegetables. Another family was taking an orange, a bag of oranges. They didn't know what it was. I showed them how to eat it. The whole bag was gone in under 2 minutes. They loved it. There were also lemons, and they were fighting over the lemons and peeling them as fast as they could, and they were very disappointed. So, visiting. Taking fresh fruits or vegetables, showing them how to prepare them, and eating them with them would be a great connection to make with them. So I know that kind of took a lot of time, but to let you know, it doesn't take a lot. You can do simple things like this when it fits your schedule and your time. Yes, ma'am.
I'm with Rutherford County Schools. I'm the homeless liaison for Rutherford County Schools.
Awesome.
We can provide all the school supplies that they need, the ones that are in middle and high schools. The elementary school children are in a Murfreesboro City school, so I can't help with that. But they don't need school supplies. We are
Okay.
ready.